back. Jenna's back. Back again.
I think that was the wrong tune of what you were trying. You were competing with the open music. Guess who's back again.
Jenna's back. Tell all of Delco.
I missed the show open, to be honest. I haven't heard that in 3 months. So
I think it's the best part of the show. The first 5 seconds of the Delco Duo is
the best part.
It's the open. Other than that, it's... Anyway, guess who is back? Jenna is back.
I am back.
From maternity leave.
Woo! It feels good to be back. I was discussing this new set as we came in.
You're not a fan of it.
I'm not a super fan of it, but of course we're under construction, so I understand. But we just look too serious here. Like,
no, there's nothing serious about this.
No,
show.
there's not.
It's fine. The look is serious, but the vibe is not.
And heading back to work, I was nervous, obviously, for the morning news a bit, just because getting back into the swing of making the traffic graphics and knowing what I'm talking about. But I was not nervous at all to get back into the Delco Duo, because even when I was here every single day of the weeks, there's never any plan anyway. So, I felt very comfortable just walking right back in.
Like riding a very easy bicycle. But welcome back. We are happy to have you. In the morning news, it's great. And then for the Delco Duo, we are back together yet again. Let's get to the debrief.
Yes, the debrief. That's how this works, right?
The show is going to be all about you, so... but how's motherhood?
It's good.
Rocked your world?
It rocked my world. I think you sort of were giving me little hints as I was getting ready to have the baby boy, and a lot of people have asked me about him, and he is doing wonderful. So thank you for all of your comments.
This is my favorite picture. Look at his little eyes.
So this is Cruzs. Cruzs actually came to the station with me a couple weeks ago and sort of checked the place out. I was able to introduce him to some people here, and he's just a happy little boy here. So he's great.
I love it. He does not have gas, Steve.
The director thinks that newborns are very gassy, though. That is something that I've learned. And the spit up stage has started. So just instantly everything I wear at home is covered in spit up.
I think one of the things I missed about it most is just how involved in your life I am. And so when you weren't here day in and day out, I wasn't involved in your life. Right. I didn't know every day how things were. We texted almost every day, but I still wasn't sure. And now that Jenna's back and, her husband sends her minute by minute updates, I get to be a part of it again.
Yeah, he sends the pictures, this is what Cruzs is doing now.
And that one poop video.
Oh my gosh, a 30-second long blowout. Those have been so fun. So fun. We love those.
And then I'm here for all of it. But so
and you visited me. You came to see me. I think it was a week after I had him. You were in my fridge.
And it was so funny.
Child wanted my string cheese.
Yes, that was crazy.
Spitting it up on the carpet. It was just it was a whole thing.
But Jenna was like, "Oh yeah, come visit me this day. No problem. Things are fine." And then she opens the door and her hair was a mess. She was still in her pajamas.
Things were not fine that morning.
She was like, okay, things got out of hand this morning.
I was like, Monica's coming. He wanted me to look bad in front of you.
And I just wanted to feel like, see, I told you so.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the thick of it. We are in the thick of it. He'll be 3 months next week. So he's still really little. And, you have 2 kids, so...
When becoming a new mom, what was the easiest thing? What did you think was surprisingly easy, and what would you say is surprisingly hard?
Can I think about this? And when we go back to me needing an advisor later in the show, we'll revisit.
Because I'm an advisor. I'm an expert.
You have 2 kids, so you might as well be.
I still feel like I have no idea what I'm doing, but okay, we'll come back to that. But think about it. What was surprisingly easy, surprisingly hard?
Okay.
Because I'm sure there's a lot.
I can think of a few things right now.
You have expectations going into parenthood, and it just never...
I mean, Instagram versus reality is the perfect example of that. Every Instagram mom is doing a million things in one morning.
Never.
I can barely brush my teeth.
Never. If you're not feeling like your best self, do not go to Instagram because you will feel that much worse about what.
Not even about parenthood. Anything.
Just how you look.
Anything. If you want to travel, all right. Let's get to topic number 1.
And this one is, Cruzs from Clifton High.
My baby. Monica, you made this.
I did. I'm a groomsman in my friend's destination wedding, and he didn't give me a +1. I have a girlfriend that the groom has met before. What do I do?
You shut your mouth.
No.
Yes.
It's a destination wedding. That's totally different than a one night. A one night wedding, I get it. You don't need a +1. I think Cruzs has a right to be irritated.
I hate that we're using my son's name because I feel like
I did that on purpose.
I know. Like, well, Cruzs, you need to relax. You're being a little jerk. No. I don't think he met. How many times? They met one time. It says he met before.
They met before.
There's not a number. Maybe it was one simple meeting.
For me, we have talked about this before. If you are not given a +1 to a wedding that maybe is down the street or in the same state, it's one night away. It's fine. Okay. This is a destination. What difference does it make? Because I know destination weddings, you're not necessarily, it's not crazy to pay per head. Everybody's paying for themselves to go to this destination.
True.
Why not just give this person a +1, and why not just ask?
I can understand being a groomsman and wanting a +1 because that's kind of typical. Like, if you're in the wedding party, you normally will get a date with you. But I mean, I have a destination wedding coming up and I'm begging not to be the +1. Like, I do not want to go to this wedding at all. So it's like, does the girlfriend, is she really even want to go? It's a lot. You have to take off from work. If you have a kid now, you have to think of the childcare, or you've got to, go on a vacation. And then once you're there and you're like in vacation mode, you have to do all this wedding stuff. So it's not even like it's not even like you're enjoying.
Right, I get that. And then they should be able to make that decision if she goes or not. But it's the principle of it, that it's a destination.
But you have to remember, they're typically smaller.
This probably means that this guy's got to travel alone now.
He's a groomsman. He's close to this groom. He's got friends to this wedding.
Think about it for real. This guy has to take off time, has to take vacation time, and now his girlfriend can't even take the same vacation time.
Look, I think when it comes to +1s at weddings, it is totally the bride and groom's discretion. And I mean, destination weddings are small, typically. Typically, when you go to a location, there's a handful of selected people, and I don't know your girlfriend, Susan, and I don't want her to be there.
That's crazy.
I can understand. I see your point of view about not wanting to travel alone.
Not wanting to travel alone.
Not wanting to be in the hotel alone.
Yes, you're at a hotel.
Blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, wedding +1s are cutthroat. Ring or no bring. That's what I've always heard. If you're engaged or married, obviously that's your +1.
What I would do, Cruzs, though, is just maybe like a gentle reminder, like, oh, my girlfriend who you met.
There's nothing gentle about that.
Gentle reminder, Cruzs. I agree with you.
All right, good luck.
All right, next up, we're now going back to the baby theme, so I'll be interested to see what you say about this one. Make sure you stay with us. The Delco Duo back together. Woo, 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 woo. Did you miss the alarm at all? Your alarms?
Well, I had a different alarm. It wasn't a phone alarm.
It was a baby alarm.
It was a baby alarm.
You can't snooze that one.
No, you can't. It doesn't turn off, unfortunately.
There would be times where the baby would start crying and I would wake up and just think like, he'll go back to sleep.
Yeah.
They never.
Or I'll put my hand over the bassinet and put it on his stomach. Be like, you're tired. You're sleeping still. You're not awake.
That's your snooze.
But he sleeps really good. I can't even complain about that. So
He does. All right. Our next issue comes from Finley from Fulcroft.
All right, let's see. My husband and I are blessed and done with 3 kids. Wow. My sister-in-law is pregnant with her first. When I brought over hand-me-downs, she threw them in the wash. Isn't that rude? I'm a clean person.
I definitely, I can see why immediately you're like, wait, I've cleaned these. You don't need to clean them again. But I think everyone just throws
everything
into the wash.
When before you had both of your kids and you were gifted different outfits and all that stuff, you washed it beforehand.
We didn't have a ton of hand-me-downs. We had a good amount, but we didn't have a ton just because Eugene's older sisters their kids were so much older than ours, so they didn't really have any hand-me-downs. So everything that we got, which was great, was new. But what's interesting is we had a lot of hand-me-downs that I gave to my brother. And the way we did it is we handed them right to my mom. Because I was like, here's all the hand-me-downs that I had cleaned. I handed them right to my mom.
She cleaned them?
And then she went and cleaned them again. And I was not offended because I was like, something might have slipped in there that
baby,
was not.
the onesie's not even going to be able to move because it's going to be so stiff from the wash. My Lord. No, but I mean, after the baby shower, I cut the tags, washed all the clothes. And I mean, the detergent... As a mom, you might want to pick a certain detergent for your kid.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Right. So, because they have infant special detergents, or they just have ones that are free and clear of like all different dyes and fragrances. So as a mom, you choose whatever you want for your kid. So I don't think this is rude at all. You could be the cleanest person in the world. If you give me clothes, I'm still going to wash them.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't. If I was the sister-in-law, though, I wouldn't have necessarily taken it and immediately thrown it into the wash, like in their face.
Oh gosh, no! Don't do it in front of. Yeah, don't do it in front of the person that's giving you the hand-me-down.
Like just being like, "Ew, thanks." I think that kind of makes it more like this is more of an inconvenience for me than anything. I definitely think the sister-in-law was kind of rude in doing that, but
she has 3 kids. I mean, you think that she would kind of be able to sympathize though, and like remember when she would be cleaning everything before.
Yeah, but
I know that's actually a debate, like whether or not to wash the new clothes.
I didn't.
You did it?
No.
And your kids survived, so.
I didn't. I figure, I'm like, what's
you're telling me this now? I was washing for days.
I know, and I just don't. I found it so irritating to wash all the little clothes and then refold them, hang them back up.
Yes.
For the baby, my second, I did not wash the new clothes because I figure whatever processing plant that they were in before this is much cleaner than my washer and dryer. I have seen what I put into my washer and dryer.
This is also coming from the woman who found a dusk mask in the studio and immediately, like a worker's mask that, when they're renovating the studio, and immediately put it on her own face. So
I didn't even wipe it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that you're intimidated or afraid of germs.
No.
But you're, in your 30s versus your newborn baby.
Yeah, but your newborn baby is the healthiest in the first 3 months because you are giving that baby so many good things, through nursing and all of these different vitamins. I mean, this kid, they are born super healthy. It just only gets unhealthier as the kid gets older.
I think it is interesting to think about, like, newborns are portrayed as being so fragile.
When they're really...
When in delivery, not to give any, like, details, but they just throw the baby. The baby's just like, here's your baby.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Like,
but... Even born, that kid just went through a lot. You get like a
stress and trauma,
but also you get like all these like nutrition and all of these anti sickness things when you're born, and then through feeding and even formula.
So you're thinking the clothes are not going to be the make or break.
Yeah, no. But I get it. And I understand why parents do want to clean the kids' clothes right before they're born. So no, I would not take offense to this.
And I wonder if she told her sister-in-law, hey, I clean these beforehand, or I spent time. Because then I could see it being a bit more rude just to throw them right back in the wash. But if you just pulled if you had them in a clear bin and you literally just transported the bin from your basement to your sister-in-law, then
it could be dusty.
Give it a good clean.
Don't be offended. But the sister-in-law shouldn't have done it right in her face.
Okay.
But do not take offense to this. And
I'm sure a lot of people watching are like, what do you have to do nowadays with your kids? Like, my mom can't understand half the stuff that people do nowadays with babies. Like, it's that generation, like, well, you guys survived.
I do think that my mother-in-law and my mother, their big thing was you don't dress them warm enough. I mean, it was middle of summer, and my mom and mother-in-law were, head, hands.
Oh gosh, no.
Feet, and I'm like, it's 90 degrees. I'm afraid this kid's going to overheat. But no, that's a big difference I see, is that, they always dress them so warm.
All right, coming up, we are still talking about babies. Meisner needs an advisor. I need a lot of advisors. A lot.
We'll see what I can offer. And welcome back to the Delco Duo. A lot's changed with the show. Jenna is back, but the concept does remain the same.
Always.
We're still taking people's questions and concerns, giving some advice.
Solving all of the issues across the Delaware Valley.
Yes, not just Delaware County.
You could be from anywhere, but we're going to tell you in a Delco way.
Absolutely. Okay, so obviously with the concept of this show is next up is one of our own issues. Meisner needs an advisor. I was excited to think about like what your biggest kind of concern or what you needed advising for. Because you're such a... I feel like I was not concerned with you becoming a mom.
Oh, that's so sweet.
You know, like I was like, Jenna's got this. But what would you say has been the toughest?
I would say it's just when... that quote unquote witching hour, we don't have that, thank gosh, yet at least. I know everything, like once you get a schedule down and you feel like you know what you're doing, it can change so quickly. So I just feel like there's been times when Cruzs will be crying and you can't figure out what it is.
Yes.
Whether you change the diaper, you feed him, you rock him to sleep, or he fights sleep so bad. But that's naps. Do that? He fights his naps, but when he goes down at night, he goes down like an angel. So I'm really hoping that stays. But yeah, so that's been really tough to like sort of decode like what the issue is. I know sometimes there's not even a problem. He's just crying to cry because that's how he talks. Yeah. But
it's always like, I mean, for me, it was always gas. It was like if there are no visible signs, it's usually gas.
Yes. And we'll do like the bicycle legs, and then when you push them up to his stomach, this man lets out like grown farts. Grown. No, not Tate in the control room. Cruzs lets out grown man farts, and that was probably the most shocking thing. I was like, whoa.
Yes.
Are you good?
Right. Like everything else is so baby.
Yes. Not the farts.
For their toots.
Now we're talking about farts on TV. But also, I was telling you earlier, what we're struggling with right now is Cruzs does not like to be with anyone other than Tate or I. So he, like my mom is starting to develop a complex. She thinks that the baby does not like her, which is not the case. He just, if we hand him to her, he'll cry, and then she'll hand it back, and he'll be fine.
But I always think, though, the thing is you're handing the baby to your mom and then standing there. You need...
No, I'll hide. Sometimes I'll run. I'll be like, here you go.
I really, really do feel like the fact that you're gone in the mornings now and that Tate is going to drop him off at your mom's, you're nowhere in his mind at that point. I think that's good. That's good.
Out of sight, out of mind.
It's not even out of smell.
Out of smell, yeah.
Kids,
well, we've tried it. My mom put one of my shirts on to try to trick him.
They know,
but yeah, no, it
out of sight, out of mind, out of smell. When you get all of that together, I think it'll be an easier handoff.
Yeah, and it's hard because you hand him to somebody else and he starts crying, and you're like internal.
Yes.
You're like, oh, you can't even give me the baby and he'll stop. Just give me him and he'll stop crying.
You can't even breathe the same way. Like you're like.
But everyone's like, oh no, eat. You should eat, or you should take a shower. You should do this. It's like, I can't do any of that because I can hear him crying, and that's unsettling. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't think they say you can't spoil a newborn. But
no. Oh, absolutely.
The last 12 weeks, I've held him.
So also real quick, the mantras. You can't spoil a newborn, and you can't discipline a toddler. Like, there's just no point. Sorry, that's what I'm going through right now, is Bubba, I cannot discipline him. I put him in timeout, and he slips under and laughs at me.
Slips under what?
Like, I'll put my hand out. I'm like, no, don't move. And he goes...
Do you have, like, a timeout cage? Like, where? We have
a timeout chair.
Okay.
Our timeout chair is very comfortable. Let's just like sit.
Yeah, just relax.
I just need you to sit so that I can feel like I'm disciplining you. Yeah. And then so he like smiles and slides under, and but anyway, there you go. Can't discipline a 2-year-old.
It's just funny because you always think like, oh, it might just be easier if he could sit up on his own. Mm-hmm. It might be easier if he was like could walk. It would be easier. But my sisters, I was talking to them, and they're like, you always think the next thing. Every stage presents a challenge.
Yes.
It's not. Oh, yes. It's not just you get somewhere and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
But then there's a new problem.
And I think that's the thing is every stage presents a problem, and then you're just left wishing you get to the next stage. Yeah. And that's not a good way.
Yeah, you have to enjoy it. That's not a good way
because it's like, yeah, and then the next stage you're like, I just wish it would.
You haven't held a Cruzs yet. You say. Monica's met how many times? 3 or 4?
3 or 4 times, and every time he's sleeping
and he's comfortable. And I get that. I don't want to make him mad.
I'm not gonna be that person that's like, let me hold your baby.
But you pushed him one time, and he gave you a look like, you're not my mom.
Because it was definitely the hair color. He was like, oh, you're not a blonde.
Yeah, so I don't know what to do. I mean, we just have to
get through this.
We just have to keep exposing him to our other family members and hope that he grows out of it, I guess.
You're only 1 week into back to work.
Yeah.
And it just gets easier. Not that it gets easier, but things get figured out. Now that you're not there to totally like overthink everything, Tate, your mom, your
watch
sisters,
it on the camera.
I know.
Just watch it on the monitor.
I love watching Tate and Cruzs in the morning. You want to know what should not be allowed? Those nanny cams.
I know.
Those are so detrimental to moms. They just stare at them and analyze.
I know.
I did not have that.
It's torture, but I do it to myself.
I love hearing all of this every morning. I'm just like, and it just makes me happy that we are done.
Done with the newborn stage. All right, we have trivia. I'm so excited that trivia is back. Okay, ready? The brand new Rose Tree Park Playground is the second of its kind in the county. What's the other one? And we'll tell you like what makes it
so unique.
So unique, yes.
/ not unique because there's 2.
Okay, so here's the question, Monica. The brand new Rose Tree Park Playground is the second of its kind in the county. What's the other one?
And I had actually heard of this. They sent a flyer in.
Oh.
Yes. So I knew it's in Swarthmore. I didn't know what it was called. It's called Cade's Inclusive Playground in Swarthmore.
So both of the playgrounds include all-inclusive features and are ADA compliant. So that's what makes them stand out in the county.
Which I love.
Which is amazing.
But it was funny because when we were reading this, Jenna goes, shouldn't all playgrounds be ADA?
I thought that all playgrounds should be, but apparently that's something that
I'm sure
these 2 playgrounds really tout and are proud of, which they should be.
It's amazing. But
and you've been.
I've been to I haven't been to the one in Swarthmore.
Rose Tree Park, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We spend maybe 2 or 3 days a week.
I mean, I've driven by it and I've seen it and it looks beautiful. And my sister's gone with her kids, but
do you ever like there's something that's made or built and you're like, this was made for me? Like I really feel like Rose Tree Park.
Why do you feel that way?
Because I live so close to Rose Tree Park.
Oh, I thought you meant there was like a certain slide or something that you were really jazzed about.
I had been asking for something to be
It's amazing. It's beautiful. And you think that it has one of the tallest slides. Monica was trying to find the height of one of the slides. I don't know if you at home.
Everybody's been there. It's like, you're walking it, you're like, wow, how big is this thing?
I have to see it in person. I've just driven by it, but
I have really been down the slide. How sad is that? My kids haven't, but I went down. I climbed up. There were no other kids around, and I climbed up this jungle gym.
Thank goodness. Other parents were probably thinking you were, going to swipe their kids as you're crawling through this jungle gym.
They're like, kids, stay away.
Crazy lady.
Stay away. All right. You can email us with your issues, your concerns. And people have been emailing a lot of trivia questions while you were gone.
Oh, I love that. People love the trivia.
Yeah.
So keep it coming.
Delco Duo at PHL17.com. See you next week.
Yeah, enjoy your night.